And welcome back to the second episode of What Would George Do? Your Bio Insider's Guide to the one-on-one partnering system this year in Chicago. I am your host, Joe Colangelo, and with me, as always, is gorgeous George McDougall. George, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Joe. Another good day to be a member of the Bio Customer Service team.
Sounds good. So today we're going to do the first of our tutorials on the partnering system. We're going to go through what section?
We are going to go through the first of four sections, the Profiles section.
Sounds good, but before we can get into the system to look at the Profiles section, what has to happen?
Well, for the average user, they obviously have to have login credentials, and the way they would get those login credentials is by us sending them. Within 1 to 2 business days of registering for the conference, you'll receive the email that's shown on the screen. That includes obviously a link to the system as well as the login credentials highlighted there.
All right. So now once I get my email to log into the system, I'm going to go ahead and type in the web address, which is oneonOnePartnering.bio.org/businessforum2010, and I'm going to log in to this dummy account so that we can take a look at what the user will see. So now I just hit enter, I log in, and now I'm seeing a lot of bubbles with the 4 sections that you mentioned, George. What do I do now?
Well, the first time you log in, actually, only one of those 4 bubbles will be available. The 3 lower bubbles will be grayed out, and the Profiles section will be the only accessible bubble, so you'll go right to the Profiles section.
So once I click on the Profiles section, it brings up these 10 categories underneath the company profile. In addition to the 4 bubbles or orbs that we see at the top again, and then collapsible menus on the left-hand side for each of these sections to let us navigate just a little bit easier. So why don't you take us through the company profile section?
Sure, Joe. So this is basically a step-by-step process completing your company profile. And so, of course, you'd start naturally with number 1, company information. There are, of course, all the information that you input to your company profile is extremely significant. However, there are a few things that I'd just like to point out because they do hold great significance in terms of other people being able to target and find you within the system. And the first of those is the search keywords line item there. Any keywords that are put in will then give others the ability to search for and find you based on those keywords in the search section.
So just like Google, these keywords will be indexed within Bio's search section and will allow your company to be readily identifiable by some very popular keywords such as cancer, oncology, things that pertain to your company. Now, let's go back to that previous example. If I type in cancer, do I have to type in oncology?
Yes, you do.
So it doesn't link the two. It just recognizes that they're both individual keywords.
That's correct. However, not only are the keywords important, but the rest of your profile is also important simply because the search results also pull off of what clinical focus you put down as what your company works on and any other information that's pertinent.
Okay, thanks, George. So now as we go through and navigate through the rest of the profile section, you can see that you can enter in a multitude of company data, including background information, products, corporate highlights, any financing history for you private companies that are out there, investor history, senior management, board of directors, scientific advisory board, and then rounding out the company profiles is a pretty important page. Why don't you tell us about the publish profile page, George?
Sure. So in order to best be found within the system and just at the conference in general, it's important to publish your profile. So these 2 radio dials you see here are very important. Hitting the yes profile and hitting save would publish your profile. If you were to publish the profile in the system before 5 p.m. Eastern Time, March 22nd, it will also be included in the conference CD-ROM, which we hand out to all attendees.
Sounds good. And so last year that CD-ROM went to over 1,750 companies. So it is truly very important. And now let's take a look at the search section and another benefit to publishing your profile. So if I go into basic search and I just do a general search, which is leaving the box blank and clicking search so I return all results, you'll see that I'll have a variety of companies that show up, but some are grayed out with no information. and some are actively hyperlinked with quite a bit of information. So can you give us a little bit of feeling as to why this is happening, George?
Sure. The companies that have links and have all the information in them, the only reason why that's there is because they put it in there and they hit publish profile. So once you've published your profile, not only is it included in the CD-ROM if it's done before March 22nd, but it's also can be seen by any other users within the search section here.
Terrific. So is that, just to paraphrase, does that mean that if a company has not yet published their profile, they will appear gray until they do publish it?
That's correct.
Is it possible for me to search for a company or for them to show up in the search results even though their profile has not been published?
Yes, and you can still request meetings with those companies, but obviously the majority of people that would be requesting meetings with companies that haven't published their profile either have a previous relationship or know a little bit about that company prior to entering the one-on-one system.
Thanks, George. So that was pretty much our down and dirty guide to the profile section in the Bio one-on-one partnering system. We know we covered a lot of material very quickly, so please let us know your feedback if you thought that this was helpful. If there's anything else that you would need from us regarding this section. And you can, as always, you can always contact me at joecolangelo@bio.org, and George is available at gmcdougall@bio.org. And feel free to leave a comment on the blogs.bio.org/biopartnering.com blog, or our Twitter handle at bio1on1, and we'll see you next time.